Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. I'm Moses Wartooth. This here's Justin Allen. And things are never going to be the same.
New year, new me is all I'm going to say, man.
And you got the proof.
I got the proof this time, man. So one of the gifts that I did for Christmas was a 23andMe, and, it's a little surprising in there. So didn't see that one coming, is all I'm going to say, man. Turns out your boy Justin is got a little bit of African in him, Yeah, just
I knew it.
Yeah. I did the test, did the results and stuff, and got the best Christmas card I could ever ask for, and that's the end card, man. I feel now I can actually say what I want to say, man. I can say it how I want to say it. It is a word that my people have that we've embraced over the years, and now I feel like I can finally be a part of it.
Exactly. You no longer will be oppressed.
I'm no longer oppressed.
That's what really matters this holiday season.
I don't know. Do you want to go ahead and pull up?
Let's check the results,
because I actually have them. They're actually pretty interesting. Okay, let's just say this, right? So I'm 98.7% Northwestern European for the most part. So that's going to be Britain, Ireland, a little bit of French and German in there. Broadly Northeastern, so think Scandinavian, all that stuff. Not surprised by that at all, right? I mean, you just take a look at what you see here, right? But with these ancestry tests and all that stuff, they track the human genome back, and what did get interesting was if you flip to the next page here, and we can see that's what was the really interesting part. So I got about 1.1% sub-Saharan African in me, man. You got Liberian, you got Guinea, you name it, man. So it's a lot of stuff in there.
Congolese,
didn't see that coming. But I got a little bit of African pride in me, man, and I'm embracing who I am. Okay, and I'm living up to it, man.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I finally, after all these years of searching, I've actually finally found a purpose in life. And so I'm standing up with my brothers, and we are going to stop the oppression of my people once and for all. And by doing so, I'm finally going to say the elusive word that my niggas have not let me say in the past.
It's about time. You've earned it.
Oh my God, dude. I don't know. I just want to work it in. It's an interesting word to use anyway in the context. So these ancestry tests are legit, 100%. If you want to look at it from an evolutionary standpoint, Africa is the cradle of civilization and stuff. And, all humans, what we can, for the most part, prove, we all just we evolved out of Africa and then migrated all over the world, right? So you get the Asians, you get the Bering Strait, they come in, they become the Native Americans, down to the Aztecs and Mayans and all that stuff. Everything's just kind of all mixed in there and stuff. But it was interesting to see, that lineage traced out and stuff like that. I was really satisfied with the results. I thought it was really good, man. But, and then also 23andMe, I know there's some debate over how legit is it and all this other stuff. What I did like about it, though, was the health aspect of it, because they will sequence your genome and they'll look for if you have any genes for any diseases, if you're a carrier for it, or if you have a high probability of developing a disease. So they go through things like heart disease, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, you name it, man. It's a lot of stuff that's in there. So whenever I took it, I wasn't so much worried about the ancestry part of it, because I was at this point, who gives a shit? Any of these people, they're all dust.
Yeah,
it doesn't fucking matter, right? My niggas are dust is all I'm saying, man. But the thing is, I was worried about modern times, me alive right now, health-wise. What the fuck are we going to be dealing with?
Now, I guess maybe not, but you could have had a predisposition for sickle cell.
I was actually kind of worried about that.
Well, at least now you know.
They did test for it, though. So,
that's good.
It's
that's good.
I don't have the gene variant for sickle cell.
Nice.
So, don't have to worry about that. Be good. That's one thing to check off.
That is. That's a plus.
Man, I just can't shake this cough, dude. Just been sick, But yeah, it was interesting to kind of see what diseases I may need to, genetic diseases need to be worried about, stuff like that. Turns out I'm pretty legit, man. Your standard shit. I mean, slight increase for type 2 diabetes. That's
a normal American thing.
It's we're half the country. Cool. A little increase for celiac disease. Nothing too crazy. I mean, I had a grandparent that had that. but there wasn't anything, no risk for macular degeneration or whatever. So I was like, cool, like that's awesome.
Yeah.
I do have like a weird gene that allows me to build muscle mass really quickly, which explains because, I mean, as watchers of the show, you see me go from like in shape skinny to like fat to like in shape and stuff. And then like now I actually have like abs and shit. And it's like, what the fuck? How can you make these? I mean, this is going to sound like a joke, but this is actually like a reality. Like before we started filming this show, like part of it, if you go back to especially the early episodes, I was back to like gaining weight, like the early shorts and stuff. What I had gained and lost 50 pounds. What was it in like?
It was an extremely short amount of time.
It was like fucking 6 months, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Like I gained and lost 50 pounds and then I gained it back. That's what it was. Yeah. So it was like 6 months. So like I basically was like anorexic, gained this fucking weight.
Yeah.
Lost it, gained it fucking again.
Whenever we first started, you weighed a lot, and then you steadily just progressively downward spiraled into anorexia and then bounced back off of that.
But like my entire life, like I've been able to, like when I get out of shape, I've been able to get into shape really fucking quickly. And like even people have noticed like around me, they're like, dude, like you can build like muscle. Like it's just insane. The rate at which I can build muscle mass, the rate that I can slim down fat and all this stuff. Now, with that being said, I will say this. Anytime that I've gone to get in shape or do anything, I've been on like strict diets and I've worked out really heavily.
Yeah.
And that's going to be 99% of it. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. That's the truth.
So don't go blaming your genes if you're fat.
Yeah, don't go be blaming your genes, man. And but it just found out they it was cool to see that I have this variant, and they actually said that it's really common in professional athletes, like Olympic athletes. I think is specifically what they said, and I was like, cool, like. That was just kind of cool to like see or whatever. But I think, they're a novelty kind of thing. I mean, who knows? I know there's some debate on how legit the results are and all that stuff, but I was more concerned about the health aspect of it and then current living relatives.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. I found like some cousins and stuff I didn't know about. I actually found a half aunt I didn't know existed.
Damn.
So that's kind of cool. I'm just waiting to not reconnect, but to connect with her.
Somebody's got some explaining to do.
Yeah, that's gonna bring up some interesting questions next Christmas. So, but we'll see where it goes from there. I mean, I was kind of like hoping for like a bombshell, like like a brother or something.
Yeah.
Like half brother,
like a brother in Tanzania or something.
Like, oh shit, son! Yo, what up, my nigga? Let's do this. So, but yeah, dude, it's it was interesting to do. I mean, I encourage everyone to do it, but I would go into it with a skeptical mind. It's a novelty.
Yeah,
like it doesn't define you. And the whole reason like we're doing this show, like we're talking about this, especially with the use of playing the in card, the elusive word that men that look like Moses and I are never allowed to use, is it actually brings up like an interesting subject with this, because there's all this negativity and stigma around certain types of people being able to use certain types of language and stuff, right? And it shouldn't be like that. Like it should just be free speech across the board. Now there is a thing called hate speech and stuff like that, and there is violence that occurs, and that shit is never acceptable.
Yeah.
But like the reality is if you've made it this far into this episode, I'm sure by me even saying that word, you've gotten awkward and felt awkward hearing it and all this other shit. And like, what's going on? What are they doing?
From a fucking honky.
From a fucking cracker ass honky. Like me, a mayonnaise monkey cracker. So, but the reality is, we've stigmatized like, these types of languages and stuff like that and put limitations on them and shit like that. And while you can see through my genetic makeup, there is some of that in me. So like, as far as, having like that African heritage that comes from that, and that being able to use, that word in the English language is typically associated with, people of that community that show like, the physical characteristics of being like, say, like African or like African American in our case, being in America and stuff like that. So I guess what I'm trying to get to is, where does that become like the line seems to be blurring to some degree, or maybe it's not. I don't know.
Is it a strictly skin color thing?
Is it?
Or is it a genetic thing? Like,
I don't know.
And who decides these?
Yeah, because it's like, you see like artists and stuff, like whether it be comedians or musicians or whatever it may be, they can use that word with impunity as much as they want. And it's totally fine. But it becomes an issue where, like, if I want to quote a comedian, right?
Or if I'm trying to sing one of my favorite Lil Boosie songs.
Yeah. And then you someone hears that or there's a recording of that, it becomes an issue. Like, why is that the issue? Especially when your intention is nothing negative.
Yeah.
Now, if you were engaging in hate speech and
if you walked up to an innocent man on the street and called him a racial slur, obviously that's an issue.
Yeah, dude.
But
but getting these results, it's something I wanted to talk about because that word, especially in the comedy realm, and the people that watch this show, like they know. I do stand-up comedy and stuff. Like, we obviously write a bunch of goofy shit on our show. We talk about, sometimes we have some serious conversations and stuff, but that's always in that realm. Like, especially even in like some of the like dingiest comedy clubs I've been in and stuff where anything goes, it still is. White comedians will not say that word. They stay away from it. That is like the biggest like no, like fear and scare, even if they're using it in a context that isn't necessarily negative.
Yeah.
Where it would actually be.
Or even if they were literally just telling a story.
Yeah.
Like,
so, or quoting another famous comedian.
Exactly, yep.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm a proponent of free speech across the fucking board. Say whatever the fuck you want. But be prepared for the backlash that comes out of that one.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, what's that old fucking childhood thing? Sticks and stones.
They may break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true, man.
Suck it up.
There's a lot of shit in that, But I just thought it was interesting to because it's something I've been wanting to do on the show for a while is to break down what can we say, what can't we say, and why can't we say it if we can't say certain things,
Because the old YouTube gods in the sky.
Could be. And that's also why it shows some of my, DNA results. It's like, if you really want to cause an issue about this, what are you going to do? Listen to how I use the term. Listen to how I said this exactly.
There's no hate behind it. There's no negativity behind it.
And it's literally, and then at the end of the day, you want to tell me that this is a word I can't use because I don't fit into a certain demographic. Well, there's your evidence.
I feel like if you're capable of speaking it, then you're okay to say it.
No, I'm not going to say I'm going to be like an ASAP Rocky music video anytime soon. But it was just cool, and it's when the holidays around, I was like, holy shit, I literally just got my in card, dude. And it's and it's also something funny to bring up because that's one thing people are always, it seems like in a joking manner it comes up, but they're always just like, what if I am something completely off the wall?
Yeah.
They're not expecting, you know what I mean? It would be just you insert any demographic.
Yeah, it'd be like if you're 37% Asian or something. You just have no idea.
So see my results being 98.7%, basically just European as fuck, right? And then throwing in that 1.1%, it's okay, this is African stuff. It's all right, whatever. But anyone with half a brain knows, evolution, migration patterns of humans evolving over thousands of years and stuff. So it's all pretty fucking standard.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm definitely gonna play into that and use that as a joke. I'm gonna keep the results printed out and actually use it in my stand up.
Like a military shaving waiver.
Or a driver's license.
Yeah.
Should get it laminated and put it on, But I mean, some Wonder Bread looking motherfucker like me, that's the best results you could ever ask for, you know what I mean? So but what is it about that word, man, that just because anyone is still listening to this, it is an awkward word to say and stuff, and even in I don't know, it's what is it about? Why is it okay for some people to use it and other people it's not? I mean, I understand there's a history with it, but if you look at the history of just the English language in general, I mean, words change and evolve. That's what people don't really talk about a whole lot. New words come into existence and shit all the fucking time, man.
And old words take on new meanings all the damn time.
Absolutely, man. And so I don't know. It's a real double standard with that. I mean, I'm not saying everyone who watches the show start running out in the streets dropping an M-bomb, but I mean, know your audience and know the tone and what kind of message you're trying to conceive and stuff. And I mean, some of the greatest stand-up bits I've ever seen in my entire life have involved some white people using that word, in that setting where it's just holy shit, this is fucking hilarious. This is good. And if you want to see those types of shows, I mean, just, buy tickets to the clubs where they lock up your phones. I mean, it's fucking hilarious. I mean, just all the times we've been to Austin, famously, we've been to Joe Rogan's famous comedy club, the mothership down there. They lock your phones up. And a lot of those big comedians you guys see on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, you think would never say these things. Oh, they do. They do.
And it's funny as fuck.
And it's fucking hilarious. And it's the most diverse group of people in those crowds, man. It's because they can all just take a joke. And that's really what it all comes down to. It's because words don't fucking mean anything unless you give them fucking meaning.
And especially when you're in that setting, you know what it's there for. No one's out to get you. No one's trying to hurt anyone's feelings. They're just talking shit and it's funny.
Yeah, dude. And
if you don't like that, then why the fuck are you there in the first place?
But I don't know. It was interesting results, man. I mean, and that I don't care about the ancestry part of it at all. Like, I just wanted to bring that up. I was concerned about the health and the living relative side of it, So, I mean, I'll keep you guys updated, like, as I find new relatives, I guess, and get some fucking answers to that.
I say we take a trip to the Congo.
Like really fucking get in touch with my roots.
Like, we need to look for your 0.2%.
Oh, one thing too, speaking of that, so if you add it up, you do the 98.7%, European, and then the 1.1% of basically African, right? You're hovering with a 0.2%. Like, what is that, right?
Animal.
They just said untraceable. They're just like, we don't really know where any of this comes from or whatever. But one thing that was interesting, my genetic makeup is 67% more Neanderthal DNA than the average person who's taking this. Now we're talking trace elements of DNA here, but 67% more DNA than the average person. And I was like, well, that fucking explains a lot. Like knuckle dragging
goddamn
retard.
Caveman.
Fucking caveman over here just discovered goddamn fire. Just discovered he can fucking pull his in card and use fire. That's it.
That's all you need in life.
But I don't know. It was interesting. I mean, I encourage everyone to do it. I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think it's a novelty item. At the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter what the fuck those tests say, because we are people. We're here in the now, in the fucking moment. It's the best way we make out of it.
Yeah, like, what are you going to be disappointed in your results? Like, come on.
It's like, what are you going to change?
Exactly.
It's like taking a COVID test now. Now, if you just you work in healthcare and you need to or whatever, you can spread it to other people. That's fine. That's one thing. But if you're
at home taking it,
it's like, what are you going to do? Just be told you got fucking COVID? Like, what are you going to do about it? Like nothing. So,
oh no.
Take that test. And the reason why I bring that up is because if you can't tell, Moses and I are both actually sick right now. But we got some shit going around our local community. Just, I don't know, some upper respiratory coughing.
Yeah, flu, whatever, cold shit.
So, I thought about taking a COVID test, and I had this fucking moment where I was like, because I don't have anything to do during the holidays, so I'm just like at the house, and I was like, why the fuck am I going to bother? Like, I'm not going anywhere. I was like, why the fuck am I going to bother taking a goddamn COVID test?
Yeah.
Like, what is it going to do? Tell me, I have COVID? I'll be like, okay, cool. Like,
okay, and continue to sit on the couch.
Just continue to sit on the couch and jerk off or whatever I do, But no, I went to the doctor. They did all their stuff and everything, and it wasn't that. It wasn't the flu or anything. They were like, yeah, it's just some crud going around. So they gave me antibiotics, steroids, some cough medicine, on that lean, baby. But I was like, cool. And then so I used my VA benefits to VA healthcare to pay for that visit to the doctor, because the VA clinic that we have in our town was closed down at the time, and I was just closed after hours. So I went to an urgent doc that was in my network. Okay. And I showed my VA card, and they're like, okay, cool. We're going to file this with the VA. Fine. The guy gives me do the checkup, all that stuff, get everything checked out. The guy gives me prescription and stuff, and he's like, "Okay, you're gonna go fill it at this pharmacy that I use." And I was like, "Cool." So I go into the pharmacy, and then I give him my VA card, and I get my medication. I try to get my medication, and they're like, "Hey, we can't fill this." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And there was some paperwork issue where essentially they were like, "We can't bill the VA for your medicine," and they're like, "So you're gonna have to pay for it." And I was like, okay, well, how much is it? And it was like around like $60 or something. And I was like, that's fine. I'll just pay it. I'll just get it. It's not a huge deal. I'm not really all that worried about it. They had 10 minutes before they were closing, so I kind of felt like they were just pulling some bullshit to get out of there. But then the guy felt bad, and he was like, let me see if we have some coupons for you. And I was like, wait, what? Coupons? And he was like, yeah, prescription coupons. They can only be given out by like medical providers, where you can get a discount on medication. And I was just like, in my head, I was thinking, why the fuck is that a thing? Like, why can't that just be the price?
Yeah, like, why does someone have to feel nice and hand out a coupon?
Yeah.
Instead of just charging what it's actually going to cost?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I believe in a free market. I believe in like, competition between like, companies and enterprises and stuff like that. But it's like this bottle of cough medicine, right? Like whatever, promethazine. Like, say that costs like $12. That should be $12 across the country. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, we're going to charge 25, but if they have insurance, it comes down, or if they have these little coupons, it comes down. It's like, no. You should just charge what it costs.
Yeah.
Or to make, and then you can make a decent profit off of, a reasonable profit. That's what it should be. And I understand, like if this was Coca-Cola, it would be something different.
Yeah, like, because that you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that to live.
Yeah, but when you're dealing with like medication and stuff, and you're dealing with people's health and well-being, like there needs to be a moral aspect that's brought into that.
For sure.
Like, hey,
and whenever you're sick or whenever you need medication, you don't need the extra worry of how you're going to pay for something.
Yeah, it's like cruel. Like, really
it
is,
yeah.
you know? I mean, I'm fortunate, I could afford to pay for it. And it really wasn't all that much money. It's just a fucking principle.
Yeah.
Then it's got me thinking, like, what?
If that's you, but imagine people with like cancer medication, diabetes medication,
or
heart,
it's like, this costs
anything.
hundreds of dollars every couple of weeks or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's just like, well, what the fuck? And then you find out people are paying different rates and stuff. Like, what is it? Is it just a game of fucking roulette that you guys are playing?
That last sentence really, dude, it's a legal drug market.
Yeah.
Because illicit drugs or whatever the hell the person's charging for them at the time when you're on the street. Yeah. So
that's why, like, if you want to buy a fucking sack, you call around town and you say, okay, he wants 100 for this, he wants 120.
Yeah. And my grandma literally does the same thing for her diabetes medication. Like, it's the same exact thing.
So I don't know. Maybe the Congress needs to step in a little bit and be like, hey man, rein this shit in a little bit. I just think it's something we need to look at and like actually consider, like, hey, this might need to fucking change, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about socialized healthcare. I'm not talking about all that shit, but we just need to, like, if something costs, that's what it costs. Like, you don't need to like put in some bullshit, create additional, there's gonna be fucking coupons that only doctors hold and they decide who gets it and all this other shit. No. If that costs $17, it costs $17 across the board. That's what it needs to be, man. Anything above that, you're taking advantage of people.
For sure.
That's all it fucking is, man.
And at least now that Trump's coming back in, hopefully, I'm sure they're going to revert back to their old ways of actually being able to figure out how much a medical bill is going to cost before you get the job done. So they're going to be able to compare it. That should help with that. I don't know how it's going to appeal on medication. Probably, I think that's a separate entity, so it's going to be something else.
Dude, yeah.
But there needs to be some. I do normally, we're both for anti-regulation as much as possible, but I kind of feel like somebody at least needs to say, hey, like,
tone that shit down a little bit,
people's lives depend on this shit, man. Like, it's different. Like you said, it's not a fucking Coca-Cola. Like, it's a necessity to your life.
Yeah.
So,
like, this is just some name brand shoe or something, or like, fucking,
like, if you want to pay fucking $400 for a Gucci belt, that's on your dumb ass.
Yeah,
but like,
but it's
when
like,
Granny needs some fucking cough medicine, like, come on.
Like, I need to take antibiotics so this doesn't like evolve into fucking pneumonia.
Yeah.
Hospital on a ventilator, and it becomes a big fucking problem. You know what I mean?
That I still can't pay for.
Well, here we are.
Yeah.
The circle of life. But I don't know. There's definitely something that needs to change with that shit, man, because it's just like greedy cocksuckers, man.
Oh, for sure.
And I just hate adding unnecessary shit into like a very simple process. And I mean, it's a pretty simple process. Like, a lot of these medications and stuff that are pretty standard have been around for 100 fucking years almost. Like, you start looking at like some antibiotics. I mean, some of these antibiotics have been around 50 fucking years. Mm-hmm. It's just like, why? I just don't get it. And I mean, I will say, like, some medications are really cheap. I think my antibiotics are only like $4, but still, man, I see the need to make a profit and all that stuff, man. But then when you're just like, you're just being a cocksucker about it, for a lack of better terms, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? And it seems like America is really the only country that has a goddamn problem, man.
100%, man. Because most other countries are at least regulated to a degree, or they're just not as blatant. Like, I don't know, man. Well, because we've talked about it before, like, Ozempic was the main example. Like, that shit is, I think it's 9 times more expensive in America than it is in Europe.
Yeah.
It's
fucking
shit.
wild. Yeah. It's almost like they just try to make all their money off of us. And then then we end up indirectly in some way paying for everybody else's shit.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like the military industrial complex.
That's what I was getting. Yep.
Like, oh, that's a dot people need to connect right there. People just using America as a fucking cash cow to finance their bullshit overseas. Fuck that, dude. Why can't we just take care of our own fucking people, man? That's as simple as that, dude.
I don't know.
Like, you think it's the greatest country in the world and you want it to fucking be and you want to continue to be and shit, you got to fucking look out for your own goddamn citizens to some degree, man. And that involves things like just basic ass fucking access to healthcare and medication that comes with that, dude. Education, opportunities, things like that, man. But I don't know, man. It's really weird. It takes me back to my days of living in Europe and stuff, where when I lived in a village, like there was a big sense of like a community. Like when I lived in Germany, like people thought about the collective whole.
Yeah.
But like in America, it's the I.
Dude, there's like in suburban neighborhoods, like people never even speak to their neighbors that live 6 feet away from them.
I know, dude. And it's like, I actually talk to people and like, there's like especially my neighbors, like there's the interesting initial interaction where they're like, oh fuck, like what's going on, and it takes a minute to get over that hump and stuff. But like I never felt that in Europe.
Yeah, but well, like a neighbor in America, if you have to talk to that neighbor, 9 times out of 10 there's an issue, or like the initially they're like, oh shit, what do you want? Like why are we having this interaction right now? Versus like overseas, it's like, hey, we live next to each other, we're cool now. Like okay, we can go out and drink or do whatever. Like
I have all my neighbors' phone numbers. And I haven't had like a long in-depth conversations with them. I just introduced myself when I moved into the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was like, hey man, if you ever see anything, let me know. I'll let you know. If you ever go out of town, let me know. If you just keep an extra set of eyes on your place or something like that. It's a reassuring feeling, man. But yeah, I don't know. It's just dealing with that pharmacy. Just, I just want to say fuck Walgreens, but dealing with that pharmacy, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why the fuck is it like this? Why we allowed this shit to go on, man? And it just
money.
It's money, man. It's money, and it's just like we said, man. It's just like the military-industrial complex. The healthcare system is the same way, dude.
Oh yeah.
They rape Americans for all their fucking money so they can finance their own bullshit overseas. Everybody else got it figured out. And they're like socialized systems and stuff like that. I mean, you can pick it apart. You can say if it's good, bad, somewhere in between, whatever it may be. But I'm just fucking telling you right now, man. As 2 dudes who've been to over 50 countries between the 2 of us, man, there's a lot of fucking developed countries in Western society where I never saw any fucking homeless people. I didn't see people getting bankrupt by medical bills. I saw people that had readily available access to higher quality education, and it seemed to be working just great.
And overall safety was increased.
Safety was increased. Yeah, man. It wasn't a bad place. Now, don't get me wrong. I love being an American. I love this fucking country.
We both chose to move back here.
Yeah, I like having guns. I like being able to own my land, like sovereign fucking citizen, like have all that shit. I fucking love it, man. But there are some things in our basic core, our structure of how our society works that need to be changed.
Yeah.
And I think we're just now starting to get to the point where those questions are really actually starting to be asked. Like you look at that spending bill that we talked about on the last episode. I mean, did you see Elon Musk's post about the before and after of that shit?
Mm.
He had it printed out. I think, or it might have been Vivek Ramaswamy. The bill before they cut it, they had every single sheet printed out. And it was just like this thick, dude. Right? Like insane. Like, who the fuck is going to read all that?
No one. That's why they do it.
And then afterwards, it was like a couple inches thick. And it was just a bunch of bullshit. They just ripped out of it, dude, And I just think it's great having people like VR and Musk.
Yeah. And stuff. When you think about it, that's just one thing.
It's just one.
Yeah. Like that.
They've done that every year. Every year they do that shit. Yeah. They do it throughout the fucking year with other shit too, man. It's like they just keep throwing shit on the books, man, just to get fucking them and their bullshit fucking douchebag cronies paid and then put a name out for themselves.
No, dude.
I changed this.
I was watching a thing and there's over 450 government agencies that they know of. They don't actually, the government doesn't even know on like a precise amount of how many agencies that it has.
Isn't that insane?
And like statistically from 1776, like we've created more agencies every year than we've even been a country. Yeah. It's fucking ridiculous, man. And there's so many things that we just need to consolidate the shit out of all that.
I think that's about to fucking happen.
I think so too.
I think a lot of fat's about to get trimmed out of this shit, man. So, but I don't know, man. It's a wild time. And I mean, do you think Trump and all those guys and his cabinet and everything, you think they're going to address the healthcare shit in this country?
I think they're gonna attempt it.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel it coming to a head?
Yeah.
Like the people are getting to a fucking breaking point.
I mean, Trump's talked about it. RFK's talked about it, and at least they are now in the positions of power to actually do something about it. So I do have hope at this point. I think we're gonna.
I mean, we're just fortunate. We're in relatively good health. I mean, not right now, like because we're sick as fuck, but like, but we're in relatively good health, and and we're young too.
Yeah.
So but I don't know. I just think about people that may not be in good health or like older people or shit like that, like where it starts to like really fucking matter. And it's like, and those are typically people that have trouble providing for themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. They're normally on fixed income as it is with Social Security already dwindling anyways.
Yeah. So. It almost seems like the definition of cruel and inhumane punishment.
Yep.
Yeah. So, which is a big thing we stand against based on the laws on this fucking country. So I don't know, something to fucking think about, but it's it was all that shit. It goes back to the shit during the Obama administration, man. The conservatives, the Republicans, they doubled down. They demonized the idea of any healthcare reform because Obama, that's what he was running on. You know, they didn't want him to have any credit for anything. And, you know, I mean, I had family that worked in Capitol Hill during that time. Like, I'd fucking tell you, I'd front row goddamn seat to all this shit, dude. Like, literally, people who are still in office today, like, they literally just voted against shit just to be like, I don't want him to have a fucking win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, fuck the American people, like, fuck him, you know? And I was just like, what the fuck, man? Some of these people are disgusting, you know? And I mean, I consider them to be fucking traitors, but to the American people, you know, at that point. But, yeah, man, like, you know, they just didn't want to have a win, but it became, they didn't want to let him have a win, but it became this ideology of like, any healthcare reform is a socialist government and we can't have that. And so any talk about any change, just getting the insulin cap put through that Trump started, Biden saw through. Okay. That made the Republican Party a little shaky. Insulin. Okay. Like, what is it? Like a third of the country is like diabetic or pre-diabetic at least.
Yeah, and if they're not, they're working on it.
Yeah, dude. It's like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? You know, like, so there definitely just needs to be some fucking change. I'm not a healthcare fucking expert. I don't even think the people who fucking work in this shit can tell you how it works half the time, dude. You know, but I'm not gonna say what.
Because then you got insurance companies. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're really the ones pulling the strings and pushing the shit.
They got all the connections and they got all the money and they got all that shit and lobbyists and everything like that, you know.
They get to play both sides of the field essentially and make their own rules.
So, but I don't know. It's a tough one there, man. The healthcare in America, dude, it really is. And I don't know if it's going to change. I mean, I hope it does because I just feel like it's getting to a fucking breaking point. It's something that if you talk to the average person on the street, no matter what they believe in, they all believe it's bullshit.
Yeah. Like
no matter what they're a Republican or a Democrat or whatever it may be, if you talk to them about getting any kind of healthcare, they're all like, this is fucking dog shit.
Yeah, that's one thing that affects everybody across the board, no matter your political preference.
Dude. And I'm just like, why haven't we been able to come together on like a concise like agreement, like just be like, hey, what is this, what is going on? Do you really like paying all this money every month for insurance just so they can fuck you in the end and tell you, oh, like you're out of network or we don't cover that or here's all these fucking co-pays? They're still trying to bankrupt you. That's all the fuck it is, dude. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy when you look at like the fucking healthcare, and you want to call it the healthcare industrial complex, right? It's much bigger than the military industrial complex in America. I think it's something like $2.2 trillion right now is what it's operating on. If you look at it all, some shit like that. And so, but it's one of those things that's just not really ever talked about. It kind of flies under the radar and stuff. But we all know someone who struggles with it, at least at one point or another.
Oh yeah.
You know? I've had unexpected visits to emergency rooms and gotten fucking $4,000 or $5,000 bills before. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like I was in there a couple of hours.
Yeah. I had a 10-minute ambulance ride one time and it was like $1,700 just for the ambulance.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
Yes,
dude, ridiculous. And you know what's crazy? Like in our hometown, I know EMS dudes. You know how much they pay our EMS guys?
Like minimum wage?
$13 an hour.
Jesus.
$13 an hour. And how many times you see the motherfuckers booking it down the road? All the time.
Pretty
I see
often,
them every time.
Pretty damn often.
I'm in town a lot. I see it almost every time I'm in town. There's an ambulance. I was like, oh, fuck, there goes $2,000.
Yep.
You know, just So I'm pretty sure one of their trucks pays for itself in one day.
Probably so.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, they got a busy Saturday. They got a new truck.
So, but yeah, man, it's I don't know. Healthcare is just fucked up, man.
It is. It's bad.
So I don't know. All right, what do we got next, man? I kind of wanted to talk about like the visa shit that's going on, man, with the Trump administration, though.
Oh yeah.
So we're kind of like getting into like the politics and stuff. There's been a little backlash on this, man. So I guess there's a lot of push. Once again, this all comes down to immigration, but typically with any country, there's a tier system with immigrating into that country. One thing is, you know, you basically you can apply under different tiers, like whatever category you fall into. So a big one is a high net worth individual. Like if you're just a multimillionaire and you want to go live somewhere, they're gonna let you in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like you'd be like, all right, cool. Here's a visa. You can live here. You can buy. Like that's how all these actors and shit and stuff can buy villas and like
just go to Greece or Italy. Or
you know, it's because they have $100 million in the fucking bank. Another one is a high skilled worker. So if you're a professional, like say, you're an engineer or a doctor or something like that, a lawyer even, or, you're just a high valued skilled worker, they'll let you in or whatever. So it's typically that the governments of those countries will look into it and they'll be like, okay, we're short on, I don't know, nurses. Right. So any nurses from any other parts of the world want to move here, start a life here, you can work here as a nurse. Mm-hmm. Right. So America has a program like that. And so we look for high skilled workers and stuff. And right now with the immigration stuff, it seemed like there was some pushback where there were some members of Congress that were like, no, we don't want anybody else coming into this fucking country. We don't want to deal with this shit. But Musk pushed back hard. He was like, no. You want these people to come over here and work. These are the ones you want to come here.
What do you think we did with the Germans in World War II after Russia? I mean, after World War II. Like, we brought them over here.
Yeah, well, it was like us or the Russians. We're like, fuck that. They ain't getting that.
Exactly. Like, you're going to help us build the space program.
Yeah, dude, because when shit matters, you want fucking brilliant minds working on your side of the fence. So, I don't know. And I guess Trump's on board with it too, where he's just like, yeah, we need to have these fucking people come in or whatever. But my thing is like, why was that even a debate?
Another pushback argument, which I don't agree with, is other people. Like one of their main arguments is they think that those high valued workers are going to take high value. Like basically, if I'm a doctor and I'm an American, an Indian is going to come over that's a doctor and going to steal my job, which I don't agree with. Like, I just don't see that happening.
That is a bullshit argument they're pulling. Because if you want to look at the reality, out of all, like, just all right, let's talk about these these jobs, right? Mm-hmm. They require a college education. Okay, the majority of students going to college today are not seeking careers in STEM. Exactly. It's just a fact. Why? Because it's hard. And you're talking to someone as one of the hosts of this show, studied chemistry in college, went to get a bachelor's in science in chemistry. Okay, I'm telling you. The university I went to was small. I had about 11,000 students. We had about 24 chemistry majors there. That's it.
Yeah, so you can't tell me that those people that they are unable to find work once they get out.
You know how many business majors and psych majors and all that shit and English majors and shit there were? It's a lot. It was a majority of the university.
Yeah.
So, now don't get me wrong, other departments had a lot more people. Like, some of the engineering aspects had more, like you'd be a few hundred here or whatever. And then you look at the percentage of those people completing those STEM degrees. That's the fucking hard part. And unfortunately, it's just, we're not keeping up with it, man. As far as per capita, like how many scientists are we producing, or STEM majors in general. And so a lot of these other countries, they buckle down and they do that shit, man. That's their fucking ticket to fucking do whatever they want, man. And like, and I'm sorry, I don't have a fucking problem with it. Like if a motherfucker went to college and he got a fucking education and he can pass all the security checks and he can fucking come over here and do it right and pay his fucking taxes, he just so happened to be born in some fucking shithole somewhere. Fuck it, let him ditch that shithole. Get over here, fucking work with us. Let's fucking be better, man. That's a part of it. I mean, you want to talk about what really builds great nations? It's going to be that shit.
Yeah, like. It's almost like they're comparing that to like an MS-13 gang member.
Yeah,
like come
on.
on.
Like, what are you doing? It's like, no, this dude is like a fucking aeronautical engineer. This guy is a fucking medical doctor. Like, this guy is an attorney.
They can help for the good of the country.
Yeah, like these are the guys you want. This ain't some nameless, faceless motherfucker that just hopped a fucking border.
Yeah, who's gonna crank out a kid and ask for a check? Like,
yeah, So I just don't understand what the big debate was on.
Yeah,
that.
I don't understand that either.
What the fuck are we doing?
Because you can't tell me that there's like just active lines of unemployed fucking doctors and shit. I just don't believe it.
Man. Yeah, they're the ones like getting what is it? Unemployment.
Yeah, dude.
Like that.
Yeah.
Dude, you speaking of unemployment, just because we're bouncing around all over the place on this episode, man. Dude, have you ever known anyone that's gotten unemployment before? Like legitimately like lost their job for whatever reason and then had to file for unemployment insurance?
No.
Okay, I've known 2 people that's had to happen to. Bro, that shit is hard as fuck to get, dude. And like these were like legit people that worked forever. They just had some shit. One guy was like, fuck. It was like a medical thing. I can't remember what the other one was, like a company shut down. But dude, they had to jump through some fucking hoops and then they barely got anything out of it. They're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just like, this is fucking horseshit. But yeah, apparently getting unemployment, like welfare checks is like pretty fucking hard, dude. It's actually not that easy.
I've gotten it. I was on unemployment for like a month and a half one time.
Oh, really?
Whenever I lived in Colorado, after I'd gotten out of the military and moved to Colorado.
Don't they make you do shit where you have to go like look for jobs? You have to report it.
You have to put in a minimum of 7 applications, or at that time in that state they're all different. But in Colorado, I had to put in a minimum of 7 applications a week and like keep updating this computer program in order to get my check and all this other shit.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah.
So I mean, in the end, it's easier to just get a damn job.
Like that becomes the job.
Yeah, it really did, dude. Like putting in applications was my job. Like,
yeah, dude. Yeah, I just knew 2 guys that did it, and it was just like they were like, yeah, dude. They were like, it's just a fucking pain in the ass. And then I remember one of my buddies, like he was just going through like a really unfortunate time, and he was just talking about, dude. Like, he was like, it sucks, man. He's like, I'm already got all this shit going on in my life. He's like, I paid all these taxes all these years. And then literally they're looking for any reason to tell me no.
Yeah.
You know? And he was like, I can understand like if I never paid into the system or anything. But he was like, that's what unemployment insurance is for. I paid money for this to be insured
for this scenario.
Yeah. And then now all of a sudden I come to get what I'm entitled to, and there's a fucking problem with it.
That's how it is, man.
And you want like a stack of paper filled out and all this shit. I get they have to do their due diligence. I get that, man, because people will abuse any system.
Oh, for sure. But it just seems like in many things in life, if you're the correct person for the opportunity, it's hard. But if you're just sneaking around doing some shady shit,
slide right in and out. Yeah. So I don't know, but fuck. Try not to cough so damn much in here, man. I'm curious how this audio is going to sound when we're done, just like hacking up a lung and shit. I think were we sick the last like holiday one we did?
Probably, man. Holiday
like
season,
last year?
We probably were.
Fucker knows. But yeah, dude. I don't know. Did you get anything cool for Christmas though, man?
No. I got a vacuum cleaner. That's how you know I'm getting old.
You got a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, dude, I needed a fucking vacuum cleaner. I was having to borrow my grandmother's.
Nice. I got a couple good things, man. I got a really nice watch. I got a really nice plaque that has a really good quote that I like. So, yeah, man, just little things. It's kind of interesting how your gifts change the older you get.
Yeah.
Like, I care more about, like, if someone put in the time if they knew that I needed something.
Exactly.
Or if it had sentimental value, like one or the other. It's like, okay, you knew that I needed this, or this has a lot of thought and effort behind it, one or the other. Versus like when you're a kid, it's just like, I want to fucking...
You like open up a fucking magazine, I want that thing. Like, okay.
You're like, all right.
It's like, it's different when you're a responsible adult, because normally if you live your life normally, you really shouldn't have like too many fucking needs or like wants. I mean, like you shouldn't look forward to Christmas just so you can get shit.
Yeah.
As a grown ass fucking human.
What is that? Shit. I saw a term. I think Vice actually covered a news article about it. There was a term they were using. Oh, hell. I can't remember what it was. It was a term they were using where you dump someone before the holidays. Fuck, what was it? Damn.
Like breaking up with somebody before Valentine's Day?
Yeah,
or
so you don't have to buy them anything.
That's pretty funny.
It's just like, all right, like we're just gonna dump their asses or whatever right before Christmas, so we don't have to buy them shit.
December 26th, call them up, try to reconcile.
Yeah, you just get out of that. No, I didn't go all hard out this year for Christmas, man. I haven't done it in a long time, but I did Christmas letters this year. I sent out like a fucking shit ton. I mean, I reconnected with a lot of people. I just basically went through my entire Facebook and was just like, who do I know that I really, have like a connection with and all this other stuff, or have had in the past, and so I think I made like 50 or 60 cards and like mailed them out and stuff. A lot of dudes from the military and stuff, so it's kind of cool, like mailing like a shit ton of cards that just went to like 3 different continents. So I was like, cool. But a couple people I fucked with, and so yours was good. I liked yours. We can't say what it said on the show. That get us in some trouble. But
might get me in some trouble.
Yeah, but if it went to the boys, there is some shit in there. It's pretty funny. For the most part, they were all serious, but close friends, fucked with them pretty hardcore. So. But I don't know, man. It was a good Christmas though, man. Like I liked it. It was really subtle. I didn't mean subtle. Like it was just really like ours was like really
like low key.
Yeah, it wasn't
I like that.
Not a shit ton of gifts, not like excessive. Just cooked a nice dinner and then just hung out with some people for a little while. But
that's what it's all about, man.
I'm starting to feel a little better, man. But I was sick as a dog during Christmas, man. Whatever we got going around right now is like fucking not good, dude. And then also too, man, like I realize kind of how retarded people are in our area, man. So for the viewers of the show who haven't listened to anything in the past, Moses and I live basically in a one-horse backwoods town in Texas, right? And so not a lot of college graduates walking around is all I'm gonna fucking say, dude. And so we have like these community pages on Facebook, and someone was outside filming like the night sky, like just with like a flashlight, and it was mist. And they were like, there's all this stuff falling from the sky. It was a serious post. They were like, because everyone's getting sick in our town, right? And they were like, there's all this stuff falling from the sky. Like, could this be what's making people sick? And
it's like, shit. It's chemtrails.
And then I just realized, I was like, it's fucking mist. Like, is this the world that I'm living in right now? Like, are we all fucking retarded here, dude? You know, like literally,
idiocracy.
Yeah, like literally terrified of rain. You know, I was like, Jesus Christ, man. So I don't know, dude. It just, there's been a lot of shit going on that fucking page, and I just been like, I'm just slowly losing faith in people. And for the diehard watchers of this show and like have kept up with our stuff, you've seen it. We've talked about this before. When we started this show, I was a very optimistic person, and I had a lot of faith in the human race. And slowly, that has just gone downhill as time has gone by. Now that's from like our own interactions, moving through life and stuff, and then a lot of the research and shit we've had to do for the show, covering news stories and seeing things where they were, participating in comment sections, all this other shit. It's just like, dude, I think we might be getting to the end of our civilization, dude. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying, dude. It's I think that clock's ticking, dude.
Yeah.
You know, like what is this mysterious shit falling from the sky? It's fucking mist. You know, I don't know, dude. And then I mean, maybe you know things are getting clever now. People are just fucking with people. It could have been someone. I mean, it seemed like a very serious post, but could have just been fucking with people. Because like another thing was, like some of these videos are getting pretty good, and then people like a lot of people are just very gullible too. But you know, I was sharing my 23andMe stuff that we talked about earlier in the show, and you know, one of my buddies sent me a video, and he was like, you know, those tests are bullshit, and he was like, you know, here's proof, and it was a lizard. Someone had like an iguana or some shit, and they took a swab, and they swabbed the iguana's mouth, and they capped it up, and they sent it to 23andMe, and they tested it, and it came back as being like Jewish, right? So, and they were just like, and it was made to look serious, and it was just like proof that this is all bullshit. And then it took me a second. I was like, hold on, because it got me for 2 seconds, and then I was like, one, anyone who's taken a 23andMe knows that it's not a swab. You spit into a vial, you seal it up, you mail it off. So there's that. That video is bullshit right off the bat. Second of all, anyone who's taken a fucking biology class knows it. There's no fucking way. It just doesn't even line up even remotely how this. It's not gonna fucking be a thing. But then I was like, that was a low key joke about Jews being lizard people controlling everything.
Yeah, that part was well done.
That's what it was, man. And the people just didn't catch the satire behind that, you know. But that was a clever video too. And then it kind of got me worried because I started seeing the comments of like how many people were actually believing it. I was like, oh fuck, like dude, we were heading down a long and dark road, man. You know, so, but it was pretty fucking funny, man. I did enjoy it, but
it is fun. I like when people are fooled by stupid stuff.
Yeah, I mean, every now and then I'll come across some shit that'll get me.
Yeah,
like, fuck.
I'm not saying I'm the brightest. I've definitely been fooled by some dumb shit too.
Yeah, I can be real. I mean, I read a lot, did a lot of school, but I fucking every now and then, man, I'll come across some shit and I'll be like, what the fuck? And then I start digging into it, and then it's like, oh shit, okay, this is what's up. But I don't know. I can also be like a pretty retarded motherfucker sometimes, you know, in my own right. So
yeah, I mean, we all have retarded tendencies now and again.
I mean, I got that Neanderthal DNA, you know what I'm saying?
67% more than the average person.
So, you know, that comes up to show every now and then, dude. So I'm trying my hardest not to have to blow my nose during this show, man. I can feel myself just getting more and more stopped up. But oh, dude, I did want to talk, man, because I know I talked about my little Christmas holiday tradition that I do where I go see movies and stuff, man. So I've been watching a lot of movies. So for those of you who don't know, every Christmas, on Christmas night, I go to the movie theaters and I watch a movie. That's just kind of like what I do. I try to do it. There's been a few years where I haven't been able to, but I'll at least like the day before or the day after, like somewhere around that time. And so I went to go see a few different movies. I saw Mufasa, Homestead, and Nosferatu. And so I kind of just want to do like these little movie reviews with people for my honest opinion. So I'll start with Mufasa. That was actually a pretty good one, man.
Is that like off the Lion King?
Yeah, it's the story of Simba's dad.
Okay.
Like where he came from and all that shit and stuff.
Was it live action or animated?
It was animated.
Okay.
So it was pretty good, man. I liked it. It was a cool story. It didn't fuck up the story of the original Lion King. It was cool.
He wasn't turned out to be trans or something.
Yeah. There wasn't any woke shit in that, But CGI was. But you could tell they dumped some fucking money into that shit, man. But it was pretty good. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's a perfect movie. I'm not big on Disney, especially with all their bullshit.
Yeah, I don't like them as a company. Yeah,
yeah, they're a little And although saw the advertisement for Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs and that shit,
that was normal.
All the dwarfs are normal, but they kept the same actress that was complaining about all the shit as the Snow White actress. But that was,
I guess, the money kind of shut her up about it. Funny how that works.
I'd have been done with that shit, but no, they're all animated dwarfs.
Animated?
Well, like CGI shit and stuff, but yeah, they're not real. Yeah.
So they took out regular people and replaced instead of hiring short people.
Yeah.
They just animated them. Yeah. They were like, fuck you, you're not getting
That was their solution.
Wow.
That's a little fucked up when you think about it.
That is, man.
Yeah.
There was perfectly capable actors that could have done that job.
I'd rather give this role to something I created than a person that could actually do it. Like an actual person that just happens to look like that, but is a professional actor, is good at what they do. Mm-hmm. I'd rather create something out of thin air than use you for it.
So how is that not discrimination?
I don't know. I think it's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit.
I really do, man. But anyway, so I'd give Mufasa pretty good, rating. It's good, especially if you have kids. It's a good one. It's a good one for the kids and stuff. It explains Scar, where he came from and all that shit and everything. It's pretty good. Another one I watched was Nosferatu. That was pretty cool. Have you seen that advertised?
That's the only one I am actually curious about.
It's basically it's Dracula, pretty much. But
is it bloody?
It's a little bloody. It's not like overly graphic.
Yeah.
But what was kind of cool because the original Nosferatu movie came out, I believe, in 1922. Yeah. If I remember right, it was a silent film.
It was.
And so with this one, it's essentially the same freaking story. Pretty much, vampire living in Eastern Europe is trying to migrate over into Western Europe, buying an estate, and then, he's chasing a girl, all this other shit, blah, 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 blah. But it had a lot of artistic value to it. For me, it was a one and done, watch it one time. It had William Dafoe in it. I like William Dafoe. It was really good. He's doing really good with his parts in the last, he's always been really good, but I think the last 10 years I've been really impressed with him. But I liked it because they kept a really artistic spin to it. So a lot of the movie is in black and white, kind of like as a tip of the hat to the OG shit. So it is pretty fucking cool. But I did like it. I thought Mufasa was better than that, to be honest with you. But Nosferatu was pretty good for a little horror movie. It wasn't scared at all. I don't know if I'm just getting older.
It's the fucking story of Dracula.
Yeah, I've heard this a million times. Yeah. I read that book years ago. That's one of the hardest books I've ever read in my entire life.
Just dry?
Dude. The story is cool, man. It's entertaining, but basically the entire book is letters. It's just a hard read to get through, man. I'm not saying vocabulary wise and stuff. It's just drawn material. It's just you're like, God damn, bro. And I forced myself to sit there. I wanted to give up halfway through. I forced myself to finish that shit. But overall the story's cool, but just the original, I was like, good grief, man. I can only imagine writing this, and taking it out of you. But I'm sure for the time and period and stuff, it's a lot different.
Yeah.
But the third movie, which I actually went to go see last night, was Homestead. And this is an interesting movie. Basically, it's about a terrorist attack that happens on America. It is nuclear in nature. It just fucks up all our shit. And then the whole world goes COVID-19 pandemic scare, but on steroids and stuff. And it's about these mega rich millionaires that have a homestead in the Rocky Mountains as protected by special forces guys. And it's about how they're have this whole self-sustaining thing. And I don't even know if I can finish even describing the movie. It was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my entire life. It was like I almost walked out halfway through and asked for my money back. Dude, I was like, dude, like it was just, don't watch it is all I'm gonna say. It was the worst goddamn movie I've ever seen in my life. It was like, imagine like Yellowstone meets like, I don't know, fucking SEAL Team 6. You know, like it goes together, right? And there's like some post-apocalyptic shit going on or whatever. It was just a big fucking piece of shit. It really was, dude. And I was like, I can't fucking watch this, dude. I was rolling my eyes. I went on a date there. Like I was like literally just sitting there, and like my girlfriend would like look at me and I would just be sitting there like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, you know, it's just like, what the fuck is going on? But it was a horse shit movie. Like it was honestly like, you know, those when you watch like those old like Lifetime movies, like where it's real fucking cheesy.
Yeah,
it's literally what it was. It was just shit like that, you know. And they were like trying to send in like, everything was just super predictable, man. They was trying to send in multiple messages. It was very fucking confusing. It seemed like there was no point in the goddamn movie. And then like they tried to do this weird thing at the end where they were like advertising. Where like scan this QR code now and you can get access to watching the series of Homestead. So what they did is they made the movie, then they made a television show, and they used the movie to advertise the television show. And I was like, this is fucking stupid. But
so is it? God,
it's just a piece of shit.
So is the movie is the show a continuation off the movie?
Yeah, from what I gathered, yeah, that's what it was. I'm not gonna watch it.
It's one long preview.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, it basically was a 2-hour preview.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm actually wish I could get my money back because that was a fucking piece of shit. And like, that's one thing I'm getting tired of with movies now, man. It's because like they'll make fucking movies and there'll just be dog shit. I'm like, no one stopped during the making, like just the writing of this. No one was like, hey, this is kind of a piece of shit, you know? And it's like, because like they end up on this fucking homestead, then people start trying to come to their homestead and get into their camp. And it's like a super nice, it's like greenhouses, solar power, all self-sufficient. Everything's like, everything's going perfect. And then like literally the whole movie is like them like deciding whether or not to let people in. And then in the end, they just like let them in. And then they're like, oh, they have skills. They can work too. And then they're just like all holding hands. Basically. Yeah. It's fucking stupid. And it's just like
I feel like that's just pushing an agenda.
It was.
Like,
there was a lot of shit in there. That was like, there was like a lot of like religious shit thrown in there. There was a lot of like interracial like family shit thrown in there and stuff. And like
some DEI bullshit.
Yeah, like DEI bullshit and stuff. Which there's not a problem. I mean, I don't have a problem with like any interracial like couples or like anything being portrayed, but it's just like you know when it's genuine and you know when it's fucking, forced. When there's something going on with that shit, you know. And there's like a scene where like the main guy who owns the homestead, it's like him and his wife, and he's got a couple of kids, and his daughter's like a teenage daughter. And one of the like special forces guys, like the Catch-22, was like those guys could bring like their family, I guess, or whatever. And so one of the guy's son is a black kid, and you know, the guys who own the homestead, they're like you're just traditional, like generic, like super wealthy country people. So they're all white, right? And so the white daughter and like the black son start to like kind of have like a thing. And there's like this really awkward moment where like the dad who owns the homestead is like, what are you doing with him? Like he never says it's a racial thing, but he was
but there's like, no other like
and he's like really angry, and then he's just like, you're only 17. You're like, you better not be getting caught up with that boy and shit and stuff, you know? And it's like, that's clearly what it was. Yeah. So they were trying to introduce like the DEI shit, but at the same time, I guess the writers were trying to like, I don't know.
Trying to mask it somehow.
I don't know what the fuck they were trying to do. Like highlight there is issues with it, but yet still accepting the fact that we're going to put this in here. I don't fucking know, man. It was fucking stupid. And I write a lot, man. Like, so I was like, so when I see movies, I really critique people's ability to write. I'm like, so that's why I focus on it. I'm like, no one during this writing process was like, what is this fucking piece of shit, dude? You know? So I don't know. But Homestead is a sack of shit. I'm sorry, man. We got to start calling it, man. Hold these movies accountable, dude. I'm tired of it. There's too much bullshit coming out, dude. You know? But yeah, man. But Mufasa was great. I liked it. Nosferatu was good for a little horror movie. I would never watch it again. Nosferatu was interesting because this vampire kind of like almost possesses this girl like halfway around the world and is like calling her to him or whatever. She kind of did some shit where she like invoked his spirit when she was like younger. So they were like spiritually kind of bound, and the whole thing was him getting to her and then her willfully becoming like basically his wife pretty much. And but she gets possessed and she's having these fits, convulsions and shit. She's always like ripping off her clothes. And essentially it's just a 2-hour movie of some girl having wet dreams over a vampire. But they don't call it that. They're like, she's having a fit, she's possessed. But there's like this one scene. I laughed so fucking hard in the theater, dude. My girlfriend was like, what the fuck? Because so she starts having a fit. It's all in black and white. And she's literally on the riverbank. And then she just has like, they have like an aerial shot of her. And she's just laying on her back. And she has her legs spread. And like her dress is coming out. You can almost see her crotch. And then she's just like rubbing on herself and shit. And then it's just all this water from like this creek bed or like whatever going. And I'm like, I was like, this girl's literally just like coming, right?
Yeah, like it's like innuendos. Like
yeah, dude. You know? And then like the vampire in it was just like disgusting and like old and like had like open sores on his body. Yeah, like it was not like the traditional like immortal,
Twilight shit.
Yeah, it didn't shine in the sunlight or whatever. That speaking of Twilight vampires, that shit was kind of gay. How they just twinkled in the light and shit. It was just like. And then what was that?
Like some fucking K-pop stuff, man.
Yeah, what was that fucking chick's name? God damn, what was her name? The actress. Like,
she's a lesbian now, right?
Yeah. Fuck, I can't remember her name. Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, she's like the worst actress. If you go look at highlights from that series of like her like reaction, like it's just the worst shit you've ever seen. I've never seen anything that she's been in where I've been like, that was good acting. I'm like, how did you get this job, dude? So I don't fucking know, man. But I don't know, man. But I do watch a lot of movies, man. I got a lot more coming out this year that I want to see what's up, dude. So I'll be critiquing those, man. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel that we're getting out of that DEI bullshit. I kind of feel that we kind of dabbled into that a little bit. And now we're pulling back out. Yeah, now we can like focus on shit actually getting good, man. So that's what I'm excited for. Another one that's coming out soon, I think it's coming out this summer actually, is the fucking Peaky Blinders, man.
Oh yeah, they're making a movie.
Yeah, so they did. I think it was like, I can't remember how many seasons. It was like a decent amount. It was like 7 or 8 seasons, and but then they're ending it all with an actual movie. Apparently, the movie's supposed to be like. Pretty fucking good, man. But yeah, the main actor they got in that dude, Murphy, man, he's a solid fucking actor for that role too, man. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. But I don't know, man. I just want to start doing movie reviews and shit. I want to start making shorts about them where we just talk shit, just do like a 30-second, like here's like a brief synopsis of what the fuck happens, and then just basically just shit on it, you know, just like whatever, dude. Dude, I don't know. You got anything else you want to talk about, man? We're getting like close to the end. I think it's been
good, man. Yeah. About to be New Year.
About to wrap it up. Yeah. Well, we'll close this up now, man. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I am Justin Allen. This is Moses Wartooth. If you like the show, man, don't forget to get on our Patreon. We got the merch store. The links are below. But thanks for tuning in. And like I said, every Monday, man, we got an episode for you. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Take care, my niggas.